Welcome to today's lesson. You will need your notebook for notes and a pen or a pencil. Please hit pause and gather those materials now. Alright, today's lessons is about transformations in the coordinate plane. The two transformations we're going to talk about today are translations and reflections. You should be familiar with both of these. So, a reflection is when you take a shape, a point, a line, and reflect it about a line in a coordinate plane. Most of the time, that line will be the x-axis or the y-axis. So in this particular problem, if I wanted to reflect this figure along this axis, it would actually be a mirror image on the other side, looking like this. So it's kind of like looking in a mirror. You see a backwards image. So this is what a reflection looks like. So when you reflect something, it's always going to be congruent to the original figure. It'll never be smaller or larger. It'll always be the exact same size. And it'll tell you where to reflect it. So I want you to draw a graph on your paper, and then we're going to graph the point RST, where R is at 1, 2, S is at 3, 4, and T is at 5, 1. So I'm going to reflect this about the y-axis. So this is my y-axis. So that means that everything over here comes over here. So if it's over here, it would reflect over here. And if it was over here, it would reflect over here. So I'm going to point R is at 1, 2, over 1, up 2. S is at 3, 4, over 3, up 4. And T is at 5, 1, over 5 and up 1. I'm going to connect them to make a triangle. Now, when I want to reflect this on the y-axis, that means it's going over here. And my R is one spot from the y-axis here, so it then becomes one spot there. So that's my new R. And we put this little tick mark there and we call it R prime. So now, looking at my S is 1, 2, 3 points away. So 1, 2, 3 points away, and there's my new S. And then my T is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the y-axis. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 from the y-axis. And there's my new T. And I connect them, and now I've reflected R, S, and T. So a translation is like a slide. It moves in a left or right and then up or down pattern. If you are having a translation, if it's going left or right, it's always on the x-axis. And if it's going left, we subtract, and right, we add. And I want you to just copy these down, and I'm going to show you what I mean in just a minute. And then if we go Y, it's up or down. Y is up is plus, and down is subtract. So copy that down, and then I'll explain what I'm talking about in just a minute. Okay, so this is an example of a translation. The red goes to the blue. So let's talk about what kind of translation this is. Let's pick a point on one shape. I'm going to pick a point on my red point. That's -1, 1. I'm going to pick the same exact point on my blue, and I'm going to figure out how did I go from red to blue. So to go from red to blue, I went 10 spaces to the right, and then I went 6 spaces down. So my true slide would be 10 right, 6 down. However, when we were talking about these, this is another way to write your translation. I write that my translation is x plus 10 because I went right 10, and y minus 6 because I went down 6. Look at this point right here, negative 1, 1. If I added 10 to the x, I would get 9. If I added 1 to the 6, I would get negative 5. Now let's see where this point actually is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 right, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's exactly where I ended up at. So this is another way to write a translation. Okay, so come into class tomorrow and I will give you, or in class today, and I will give you actually a sheet of transformations that will make things so much easier for you. Have a nice evening.